Imagine a crisp autumn afternoon in Chicago, the kind where the wind off Lake Michigan carries a chill that makes you pull your coat a little tighter. The city is buzzing with news that has everyone talking. Carter & Sons, one of the biggest financial firms in the Midwest, just dropped a bombshell. Their golden boy, Brandon Carter, heir to the empire, is getting married in 3 days. The venue, the luxurious Lakeview Towers, a hotel so fancy it's practically a landmark. His bride-to-be is Vanessa Brooks, a glamorous woman who just swept back into town from Los Angeles after years away. It's the kind of fairy tale announcement that should make hearts flutter, right? Well, not for everyone. Meet Kelsey Reed. She's 32, a sharp young lawyer with big dreams and a wardrobe full of power suits. For the last 10 years, she's been Brandon's rock. They met in law school, built a life together, and she thought they were heading toward forever. She spent a decade by his side, cheering him on as he climbed the corporate ladder, imagining their own wedding someday. But then Vanessa showed up, Brandon's old flame from college, the one who broke his heart and left for LA without a backward glance. Now she's back, and just like that, Brandon tossed Kelsey aside like yesterday's news. 10 years of love, loyalty, and late-night talks gone in an instant. Kelsey's world shattered, and all she's left with is a broken heart and a burning need to make him pay. So there she is, sitting in a crowded coffee shop downtown, waiting for a blind date her best friend insisted she try. She's not in the mood for romance, but she figures it's better than crying into a pint of ice cream at home. The place is packed, the air thick with the smell of espresso and the chatter of strangers. She's fidgeting with her phone when a man walks up to her table. He's tall, maybe late 30s, with dark hair and a quiet confidence that makes him stand out. He introduces himself as Ryan Pierce, her date. Kelsey barely looks up, still stewing over Brandon, but then she notices something odd. Ryan's holding a silk scarf, one she vaguely remembers leaving behind somewhere. It's hers, a soft lavender thing she wore last week, and suddenly her brain short-circuits. She stands up, eyes blazing, and points at him like he's a criminal caught red-handed. "What kind of creep are you?" she snaps, loud enough for the whole shop to hear. "Stealing women's scarves? Are you some kind of perverted underwear thief?" The room goes silent. People turn to stare. Ryan blinks, clearly caught off guard, but before he can explain, Kelsey grabs her iced coffee and splashes it right in his face. Brown liquid drips down his shirt as gasps and giggles ripple through the crowd. "Stay away from me, you freak," she says, grabbing her bag to storm out. But then Ryan, wiping coffee from his eyes, calmly says, "I was just trying to return it. You dropped it at the park last week." Kelsey freezes. Her face turns red as the reality sinks in. She'd been jogging in Millennium Park, the scarf slipped off, and she hadn't even noticed. This guy isn't a thief. He's just a decent human being who picked it up. The coffee shop erupts in laughter, and she wants to disappear into the floor. Ryan, soaked and surprisingly unbothered, offers a small smile. "Rough day, huh?" he says, and something about his voice, steady and kind, cuts through her embarrassment. She mumbles an apology, expecting him to walk away, but he doesn't. Instead, he sits down, shakes off the coffee like it's no big deal, and says, "So, why don't you tell me what's really going on?" That's when Kelsey spills it all. The breakup, Brandon's betrayal, Vanessa's smug return. She's half expecting Ryan to bolt, but he listens, really listens. And then he leans in, his eyes glinting with something she can't quite place. "Sounds like this Brandon guy needs a wake-up call," he says. "What if I helped you give him one?" Kelsey stares at him, this stranger she just accused of being a pervert, and for the first time in days she feels a spark of hope. "What do you have in mind?" she asks. Ryan grins. "How about we crash that wedding together?" And just like that, a plan is born. One that starts with a hilarious misunderstanding and ends with a chance at revenge. Oh, and one more thing. Ryan isn't just some random guy. He's Brandon's uncle, a detail Kelsey doesn't know yet, but we'll get to that soon. For now, picture her, still mortified about the coffee, teaming up with the man she thought was a thief, ready to turn her heartbreak into something epic. So there they are, Kelsey Reed and Ryan Pierce, sitting in that coffee-soaked chaos of a Chicago cafe, plotting something wild. Kelsey's still reeling from her outburst, the memory of calling Ryan a perverted underwear thief looping in her head like a bad song. She can't believe she's even talking to him after that, let alone planning to crash Brandon Carter's wedding with him. But Ryan's calm, almost amused, like getting doused in coffee is just another Tuesday. He leans back in his chair, wiping the last drops from his jaw, and says, "Look, I don't know this Brandon guy, but he sounds like he deserves a little payback. I'm in if you are." Kelsey hesitates, then nods. "Okay, but we need to make it good. I want him to feel every second of what he did to me." And with that, they shake hands, sealing a deal that's half revenge, half insanity. The plan is simple but bold. Ryan will pose as Kelsey's new boyfriend, the kind of charming, successful guy who makes Brandon look like a fool for letting her go. They'll show up at the wedding at Lakeview Towers, arm in arm, and rub it in his face. Kelsey's not sure how far they'll take it, but the idea of Brandon squirming while Vanessa glares is enough to light a fire in her. Ryan, for his part, seems oddly eager, though he doesn't say why. She figures he's just a thrill-seeker, someone who gets a kick out of stirring the pot. She has no idea there's more to him, a family tie she'll stumble into later. For now, he's just the guy she accidentally humiliated, and somehow that makes her trust him more. Over the next 2 days, they start building their fake romance. They meet up at a diner near Kelsey's apartment in Lincoln Park, sketching out details over greasy fries and milkshakes. "We need a backstory," Kelsey says, scribbling notes on a napkin. "How'd we meet?" Ryan smirks, tapping the table. "Easy. You threw coffee at me in a cafe, and I fell for your fiery spirit." She rolls her eyes but laughs, the first real laugh she's had since Brandon dumped her. "Fine, but let's say we've been dating a few weeks." "I don't want it to look desperate." They decide he's a lawyer, too, someone she met through work, which isn't far from the truth. Ryan's quick with the details, suggesting they've gone on cute dates, like picnics by the lake or jazz nights downtown. It's all fake, but the way he describes it feels oddly real, and Kelsey catches herself smiling more than she expected. Of course, life doesn't let her enjoy it for long. That night, she's dragged to a law school reunion at a swanky bar in the Loop. She's hoping to lay low, but the second she walks in, the whispers start. Old classmates spot her and the gossip flows like cheap wine. "Heard Brandon's marrying Vanessa Brooks," one says, loud enough for her to hear. 10 years with Kelsey and he picks the ex who ditched him? Cold. Then Taylor Evans swoops in, her former rival with a grin sharp enough to cut glass. Taylor's the queen of petty jabs, and she's been holding a grudge since Kelsey outshined her in moot court years ago. "Oh, Kelsey," Taylor purrs, swirling her martini. "Still single after that breakup? Or are you still crying over that scandal last year?" The room quiets. Everyone remembers the rumor, how Kelsey was accused of fudging evidence in a big case, a lie that nearly tanked her career. She clenches her fists, biting back a retort, but Taylor's not done. Guess some people just can't handle losing. Kelsey's about to snap when Ryan appears, sliding into the scene like he owns it. He'd insisted on tagging along, claiming it's practice for the wedding. Now he's at her side, draping an arm around her shoulders. "Sorry I'm late, babe," he says, loud and smooth, planting a quick kiss on her cheek. The bar goes silent again, jaws dropping. Taylor's eyes narrow. "And who's this?" she asks, voice dripping with skepticism. Ryan flashes a grin. "Ryan Pierce, Kelsey's boyfriend. Nice to meet you." He turns to the crowd, raising his voice. "Anyone who's got a problem with her can take it up with me. She's the best lawyer I know. And that scandal? Total garbage." Kelsey's stunned, but she plays along, leaning into him. Taylor scoffs and slinks away, and for a moment, Kelsey feels invincible. Later, as they walk along Michigan Avenue, the city lights reflecting off the pavement, she nudges him. "You didn't have to do that." Ryan shrugs. "I don't like bullies. Besides, we're a team now, right?" She nods, a warmth spreading in her chest. They stop by a fountain, and she brings up the coffee incident again, half teasing. You sure you're not still mad about me thinking you were a panty thief? He laughs, deep and genuine. Nah, it's a great story. I'll tell it at our fake anniversary party. She swats his arm, but the banter's easy, comfortable, like they've known each other forever. It's fake, she reminds herself, just part of the act. But then, why does it feel so good? The next day, they're at Kelsey's office, a small firm near the courthouse, when Ryan drops a hint about his life. I went to Northwestern, he says casually, flipping through a law journal. Top of my class back in the day. She raises an eyebrow. Impressive. Ever think about joining a big firm? He smirks, a little mysterious. I've got my own thing going. Keeps me busy. She doesn't push, but there's something about him, a quiet authority that makes her wonder. He's not just some random guy. He's got layers she hasn't peeled back yet. And then there's the wedding looming, only a day away now. They spend hours picking out outfits, rehearsing lines, perfecting their couple vibe. Kelsey's starting to enjoy it, maybe too much. But doubt creeps in that night as she lies awake in her apartment, staring at the ceiling. She's still raw from Brandon's betrayal, the sting of 10 years thrown away. Can she really pull this off? And Ryan, why's he so invested? She replays their diner talks, his steady presence at the bar, the way he makes her laugh. It's supposed to be a game, a way to hurt Brandon back. But her heart's getting tangled up. She thinks about calling it off, but then she pictures Brandon's smug face, Vanessa's triumphant smile, and her resolve hardens. No, she's doing this. With Ryan by her side, she'll walk into that wedding and show them all what they lost. What she doesn't know yet is Ryan's got his own reasons for playing along. He's not just a lawyer or a random date. He's Brendan's uncle, estranged from the Carter family after a messy falling out years ago. Brendan's dad, Ryan's older brother, built Carter and Sons, but Ryan walked away from it all. Now he's back, not just for Kelsey, but to settle his own score. The wedding's going to be a showdown, and Kelsey's about to find out she's not the only one with a grudge. The big day arrives, and Chicago's Lakeview Towers is a sight to behold. The hotel's grand ballroom sparkles with chandeliers, white roses cascading over every table, the air buzzing with excitement. It's Brandon Carter and Vanessa Brooks's wedding, the event of the season for the city's elite. Guests in designer suits and gowns mill around, sipping champagne while a string quartet plays softly in the background. Kelsey Reed stands just outside the entrance, her heart pounding like a drum. She's in a sleek black dress with lace cutouts, elegant but bold, the kind of outfit that says she's here to make a statement. Beside her is Ryan Pierce, looking sharp in a tailored suit, his dark hair swept back, exuding a quiet confidence that steadies her nerves. They've rehearsed this moment, but now it's real, and there's no turning back. Kelsey takes a deep breath, glancing at Ryan. Ready to make Brandon regret everything? She asks, her voice a mix of nerves and steel. Ryan smirks, offering his arm. Born ready. Let's give them a show. They step inside, and heads turn immediately. Whispers ripple through the crowd as people recognize Kelsey, Brandon's ex of 10 years, walking in with a man who looks like he stepped out of a magazine. She feels the stares, the judgment, but with Ryan beside her, she holds her head high. They weave through the guests, grabbing flutes of champagne, playing the part of a perfect couple. Then they spot Brandon and Vanessa near the head table, him in a crisp tuxedo, her in a flowing white gown, both glowing with smug satisfaction. Kelsey's stomach twists, but she forces a smile. The ceremony kicks off and it's picture perfect. The officiant's voice echoes through the room as Brandon and Vanessa exchange vows. Do you, Brandon, take this beautiful, kind woman to be your wife? He grins, all charm. I absolutely do. Vanessa's I do follows, her eyes locked on him like she's won some grand prize. Rings slide onto fingers, applause erupts, and Kelsey clenches her glass so hard she's surprised it doesn't shatter. Ryan leans in, whispering, almost time. She nods, her pulse racing. The reception begins, and the newlyweds start making rounds, toasting guests. That's when Kelsey and Ryan make their move. They position themselves near the head table, and as Brandon approaches with Vanessa on his arm, Kelsey steps forward. "Brandon," she says, loud enough to draw attention. He freezes, his smile faltering. Vanessa's eyes narrow, but Kelsey keeps going. "Congratulations, you two look so happy." Her tone drips with sarcasm, and the room hushes. Brandon clears his throat, trying to recover. "Kelsey, thanks for coming. This is my Uncle Ryan, by the way." He gestures vaguely at Ryan, clearly hoping to brush past the awkwardness. But Kelsey smiles wider. "Oh, I know Ryan. He's my boyfriend now. Funny how family ties work, right?" Gasps ripple through the crowd. Vanessa's face tightens and Brandon's jaw drops. "Boyfriend?" he sputters. "You're kidding." Ryan steps up, wrapping an arm around Kelsey. "No, very serious. And since I'm your uncle, I guess that makes Kelsey your aunt now. So, nephew, how about a toast to your new auntie?" The room explodes with murmurs. Someone stifles a laugh. Brandon's forced to raise his glass, his voice shaky as he mutters, "To, Aunt Kelsey." Vanessa looks like she might choke on her champagne, and Kelsey savors every second. It's petty, it's glorious, and it's exactly what she wanted, him squirming in front of everyone he tried to impress. But the night's just getting started. As the reception rolls on, Taylor Evans slinks over, her heels clicking like a predator's claws. She's been watching from the sidelines and now she's ready to pounce. "Well, well," she says loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "Kelsey Reed, crashing weddings with some random guy, desperate much?" She turns to the crowd. "You all remember her scandal, right? The lawyer who faked evidence. Guess she'll do anything to stay relevant." Kelsey's stomach drops. That lie again, the one Taylor spread a year ago, claiming Kelsey doctored files in a high-profile case. It cost her clients, her reputation, and nearly her career. She opens her mouth to fight back, but Ryan beats her to it. "Enough," he says, his voice cutting through the noise like a blade. He steps forward, towering over Taylor. "That scandal was a setup, and we've got proof. Taylor, why don't you tell everyone who really orchestrated it?" The room goes dead silent. Taylor scoffs, but there's a flicker of panic in her eyes. "What are you talking about? She's guilty, end of story." Ryan pulls out his phone, calm as ever. "Not quite. See? I've been digging. Turns out you paid an intern to plant fake evidence, then leaked it to the press. I've got the recordings, the bank transfers, everything." He nods to a man in the crowd, a nervous-looking guy in a cheap suit who steps forward. "Tell them," Ryan says. The guy, sweating bullets, stammers. "It's true, Taylor gave me 10 grand to frame Kelsey, said it'd ruin her for good." Chaos erupts. Guests pull out their phones, checking old news links, piecing it together. Taylor's face drains of color. "You're lying," she shrieks, but Ryan's already playing a clip from his phone, her voice clear as day. "Make sure it sticks. I want her gone." The crowd turns on her, boos and shouts filling the air. Taylor lunges at Kelsey, screaming, "You think you've won?" But security grabs her, dragging her out as she yells threats. Kelsey's legs shake, relief flooding her. Ryan's hand finds hers, squeezing gently. "You're clear now," he says, and she almost cries right there. But the night's not over. As the reception winds down, they slip outside to the hotel's parking lot, needing air after the madness. Kelsey's still processing, thanking Ryan over and over, when Taylor reappears, wild-eyed and clutching a small knife. "You ruined me!" she screams, lunging at Kelsey. Time slows. Kelsey stumbles back, but Ryan moves faster, shoving her aside. The blade catches his shoulder and he grunts, collapsing to the pavement. Blood stains his suit, dark and spreading. Taylor drops the knife, horrified, and runs off into the night. Kelsey screams his name, dropping to her knees beside him, hands trembling as she presses them to the wound. "Ryan, stay with me, please," she begs, tears streaming down her face. He manages a weak smile. "Guess I'm not just a scarf thief anymore, huh?" She chokes out a laugh through the sobs, cradling him as guests rush over, calling for help. Paramedics arrive, sirens blaring, and whisk Ryan away. Kelsey rides with him, holding his hand, her dress stained with his blood. At the hospital, doctors rush him into surgery, and she paces the waiting room, replaying every moment. The coffee incident, the diner talks, the way he stood up for her tonight. She'd planned to use him for revenge, to walk away when it was done. But now all she can think is how much he means to her. Hours drag by, each second an eternity, until a doctor finally emerges. "He's stable," the man says. "The knife missed anything vital. He'll be okay." Kelsey collapses into a chair, sobbing with relief, whispering, "Thank you," to no one in particular. She's allowed to see him later, stepping into a dim hospital room where Ryan lies, pale but awake. He looks at her, eyes soft. "Told you we'd make it a night to remember," he says, voice rough. She laughs, shaky and raw, sitting beside him. "You didn't have to take a knife for me, you idiot." He shrugs, wincing. "Couldn't let my fake girlfriend get hurt. Bad for my reputation." She shakes her head, tears falling again. And in that moment, she knows it's not fake anymore. Not for her. But there's more to come, secrets still waiting to unfold, and as she holds his hand, she wonders what else this man, this unexpected hero, is hiding. The hospital room is quiet, save for the steady beep of the monitor tracking Ryan Pierce's heartbeat. It's late, the kind of late where the world outside feels like a distant hum. Kelsey Reed sits by his bedside, her black dress still smudged with his blood, her eyes red from crying. Ryan's awake, propped up on pillows, his shoulder bandaged where Taylor's knife caught him. He looks tired, pale, but there's a spark in his eyes when he sees her. She's been here for hours, ever since the doctors said he'd pull through, refusing to leave his side. The wedding, the revenge, all of it feels like a lifetime ago now. What matters is him. This man who stepped into her mess and somehow became her anchor. "You didn't have to stay," Ryan says, his voice scratchy but warm. Kelsey shakes her head, managing a small smile. "After you took a knife for me, I owe you at least a bedside vigil." He chuckles, then winces, clutching his shoulder. "Worth it, then. Got you to stick around." She rolls her eyes, but the teasing eases the knot in her chest. They sit in silence for a moment, the weight of the night settling between them. She thinks about how it started, that ridiculous coffee shop scene where she pegged him as a pervert over a scarf. Now here they are, tied together by something deeper than she ever planned. She's about to say something when Ryan shifts, reaching into the pocket of his torn suit jacket on the chair. He pulls out a small, weathered object, a braided bracelet made of faded blue thread. It's simple, childish even, but Kelsey's breath catches. She knows that bracelet. She made it when she was 10, during a summer by Lake Michigan. She'd been swimming, got caught in a riptide, and a boy, maybe 15, pulled her out. She'd given him the bracelet as a thank you before her parents whisked her away. She never saw him again, just a blurry memory she called her lake brother. Her hand trembles as she takes it from him. "Where did you get this?" she whispers. Ryan watches her, his expression soft. "I was that kid, summer of 95, right? You were flailing in the water and I was there with my cousins. You handed me this before you left. I kept it all these years." Kelsey's mind reels, pieces snapping into place. The boy who saved her, the one she'd half forgotten, is sitting in front of her. "You're my lake brother," she says, voice breaking. He nods. "Guess I'd been looking out for you longer than you thought." Tears spill down her cheeks, not from sadness, but from something overwhelming. A connection she never saw coming. She laughs through them, shaky and real. "And I called you a panty thief. Thank you." He grins, the same easy grin that's been disarming her all along. "Best insult I've ever gotten. Led me right back to you." She wipes her eyes, leaning closer. "Ryan, I was going to end this after the wedding. It was just a game, a way to get back at Brandon. But now..." She trails off, searching his face. He reaches for her hand, his grip weak but firm. "It stopped being a game for me the second you smiled at that diner. I don't care how it started, Kelsey. I wanted to keep going." Her heart skips, and before she can overthink it, she leans in and kisses him. It's soft, tentative, but it feels like coming home. When they pull back, she whispers, Me too. The next few days blur together. Ryan's released from the hospital, and Kelsey insists he crash at her Lincoln Park apartment while he recovers. She fusses over him, cooking terrible soup he pretends to like, and they spend hours on her couch, talking about everything. The wedding fallout hits the gossip circuit hard. Brandon and Vanessa are the talk of Chicago, but not for the reasons they wanted. Guests can't stop buzzing about the aunt moment, and Taylor's public meltdown has her blacklisted from every law firm in town. Kelsey's name is cleared, her reputation restored, thanks to Ryan's evidence. She even gets calls from old clients, begging her to take them back. It's a win, but it feels secondary now. What matters is the man sprawled on her couch, teasing her about her cooking. One evening, as the sun sets over the city, casting golden light through her windows, Ryan pulls her close. "So, what's next for us?" he asks, his good arm around her shoulders. She nestles into him, thinking, "Well, I'm done with revenge. Maybe we try something normal, like a real date? No coffee throwing this time." He laughs, the sound rumbling against her. "Deal. But I'm keeping the scarf story for our grandkids." She swats him, but the word grandkids lingers, painting a future she's starting to want. They talk about his past, too. He tells her about the Carter family, how he walked away from Carter and Sons after a fight with his brother Brandon's dad. "I didn't want their world," he says, "built my own instead." That's when he drops the bombshell. He's not just a lawyer. He's the CEO of Pierce Legal, a powerhouse firm he founded quietly, and a legend from Northwestern law. Revered by students even now, Kelsey's jaw drops. "You're that Ryan Pierce? The one they still talk about?" He shrugs, sheepish. "Didn't think it mattered until it could help you." She stares at him, this man who's been her fake boyfriend, her savior, her lake brother, and now her everything. "You're full of surprises," she says, and he pulls her in for another kiss, proving it. A week later, they're back at Millennium Park where it all began with a lost scarf. It's a crisp afternoon, the lake shimmering in the distance. Kelsey's wearing the same lavender scarf, a nod to their chaotic start, and Ryan's arm is in a sling, but he's grinning like a kid. They sit on a bench, watching joggers and tourists pass by. "Think Brandon regrets it yet?" she asks, half joking. Ryan smirks. "If he doesn't, he's dumber than I thought. Lost the best thing he ever had." She blushes, leaning her head on his shoulder. "Good thing you found me then." Their story doesn't end with the wedding or the hospital. It's just beginning. Brandon and Vanessa fade into their glitzy life, probably still reeling from the aunt fiasco, but Kelsey doesn't care anymore. She's let go of the pain, the betrayal, the need to prove anything. With Ryan, she's found something better, a love that started with a misunderstanding and grew through chaos. They're not perfect, she knows that. She's stubborn, he's secretive, and they'll argue over dumb things like who gets the remote. But as they sit there, the city alive around them, she feels it, a certainty that this is where she's meant to be. So here's to Kelsey and Ryan, the girl who threw coffee and the guy she thought stole her scarf. From a fake romance to a real one, from revenge to redemption, they've come full circle, and somewhere down the line, when they're old and gray, they'll tell that story, the one where she called him a thief and he turned out to be her hero. It's messy, it's funny, it's theirs. And that's more than enough. And that's it, folks. The wild ride of Kelsey and Ryan, from a coffee-soaked misunderstanding to a love that conquered revenge and heartbreak. What a journey, right? From thinking he was a perverted scarf thief to finding out he's her lake brother, her hero, and the CEO who turned her life around. It's proof that sometimes the best stories start with a splash, literally. Brandon got his comeuppance, Taylor got her just desserts, and Kelsey, she got something better than revenge. She got a future worth believing in. It's messy, it's funny, and it's the kind of romance that makes you want to root for them, even when the odds are stacked high. So what do you think? Did Kelsey and Ryan steal your heart like they stole each other's? Drop a comment below and let me know. Was it the coffee throwing moment, The aunt toast at the wedding, or that sweet hospital kiss that got you? Maybe you've got your own story of love starting with a wild twist. Share it with us. I'd love to read it. And if you enjoyed this roller coaster of a tale, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps me keep bringing you these stories. Ooh, and subscribe if you haven't already. Tap that bell so you never miss out. Next time, who knows what we'll dive into? Maybe another romance with a twist, or a drama that'll keep you guessing. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. You're the real MVPs. Let's keep the conversation going. Tell me what you want to see next. Until then, keep believing in love even if it starts with a little chaos. See you in the next one.